I'm kind of pumped for this foray and demo, even though the weather is less than pleasant for June. Still such a beautiful place to be spending a bit of time with like-minded people. So I just got my kitchen slightly set up. Normally I wouldn't have the truck sitting right there, but it's helping block the wind. And it also has my books and some dried goods in it that I'm hoping to show off, so it keeps it handy and dry. But here's a little sample of what my cook kitchen is looking like. I have some water set up for washing and drinking and using. I'll be doing some salad making with dressings, some hot beverages, bush coffee, Mando style. Be doing saute with some sausage and cauliflower and some stinging nettle and probably some of the fireweed leaves that I just picked, because I don't think we're gonna find. I'm not sure if we'll find enough fresh stinging nettle, but I have this jar of dried stuff that I just dried up recently. I kind of have this little set up on the table here. This is my foraging bag. So I'll do a little bit of a description of what kind of stuff I keep in my foraging bag. It's actually a diaper bag. I picked it up at a thrift store and I thought, how perfect. I've had it for a few years now. So I'll do a talk on my favorite bag another time. Have a little bit of examples of mushrooms. This is chaga. I actually just went with a friend the other day to get a load of birch from somebody who had cut it last fall, and as we were loading it into the trailer, I was like, yoink, this is mine. Because it's been on a dead tree, it's not good for medicinal value right now, but I love having it as a piece to show people, and so you can see what it looks like, touch it, get a good sense of it. Had a red-belted polypore that I was cutting up. I have another video where I used a knife. I had a few different knives set up that I was going to try to cut the tender edge of it with. And I was actually able to get through the whole polypore with one knife, and I didn't even have to switch to a sawzall, so that's cool. This is one that's been dried out for a bit. I used some of it at home already, so I just haven't cut more off of it, but I just wanted it here for a sample. And as well, some other creations I've been working on. I have a lot of spruce going on right now. There's spruce tips in honey. I didn't have brown sugar, so I did spruce tips with organic cane sugar, and then I added some molasses to the mix, which was really thick. So it's been in here a couple days now, starting to just kind of liquefy a little bit, but that'll take a little bit of time, and that's going to turn into an excellent cough syrup. Apparently I haven't tried this before. And this is spruce tips and plantain and dandelion flowers. I busted them up in the food processor for a minute, and then I added a bottle of white wine vinegar. So I'm going to let it steep in the vinegar for a bit, and then I'm going to strain that and then put it back in the bottle that I got it out of. So I'll have herb infused white wine vinegar. These are some willow catkins. When I was out here camping last week, I sampled some of them, and after reading about them and their nutritional value, and I really liked the flavor of them. And they're not super dry or stringy when they're at the right point. They were just kind of a little bit juicy and crunchy and almost a sweetness to them. I was expecting them to be super bitter for willow, because willow has a lot of bitter components. So I had a jar of pickled, what was it? Pickled jalapenos, I believe. And I saved the liquid from it, the brine. And just this morning I was like, I need to do something with these. So I just dumped the brine on it. And so I can have a little bit of a quick pickle. Here's some morels. These have been in a jar for a few years now. I haven't had another good, decent haul like I did this year. So these are from 2020. These I might have added some in 2021, but they're kind of a prized thing, so I wasn't ready to use them up that quickly, and they last a long time when they're dried. So I'm pretty happy that now I have some more. I have a fresh batch this year, so I'm able to share these ones a bit more. I made a spruce tip salt using spruce tips, and I used some pink Himalayan salt as well as Celtic grey sea salt. And so I dried that on low in the oven with the door open because I wasn't a fan of how my dehumidifier was working for it. So I kind of like to leave it chunky. As long as it's dry, the greens need to be dry, but I like to put it in a clear glass grinder and then use as needed, and it's awesome. I haven't made it in a couple years, but it's awesome on eggs is one of my favorite things, but also just as a random seasoning wherever you want to try to have some sort of fresh citrusy greens added to your dish. Yeah, I made a syrup yesterday. I picked some fresh lilacs at home, and I added spruce tips and hibiscus flowers. The lilacs were kind of turning the liquid a bit of a browny color, and I thought, well, hibiscus I know makes a nice deep reddish pink color, and it would also complement both the flowers of the lilac as well as the citrusy flavors of spruce tips. So I thought, I'm going to add hibiscus and make this nice syrup. I'm going to make a drink with that later, adding some club soda. We'll see how that tastes. It has a bit of a simple syrup in it as well as honey, about half and half of those. And there's a spice blend that I made. It includes nettle. That's the only wild one that I put in here, but I just kind of keep adding stuff, trying out different blends. And the reason I use cremini mushrooms is because creminis are one of the few mushrooms that you don't need to cook before you eat. Morels need to be cooked thoroughly, so I'm not going to incorporate them into a seasoning blend that may or may not get used on something cooked or raw. You don't know. So if I was gonna make something with mushrooms for a seasoning blend, I'd have to cook it first, and I don't really want to do that. Or you just use it where you're going to be cooking like a stew. And these are from last year or the year before, some yellowfoot chanterelles. They're kind of found in mossy areas in Alberta and in BC as well. And then here's some honey mushrooms and puffballs, just random collections. And then this is some balm of Gilead made from poplar buds. Make a oil infusion from the cottonwood poplar. And as you can see, my fingers have been dipping into that because I use this for inflammation and pain. I have bad knee amongst other things, and I often wake up. I keep this by my bed because I'll wake up and put that on the back of my knee if I'm getting pains at night when I wake up. So I think that's it for my creations, and that's a bit of what my camp kitchen is looking like right now. This is a first for me, so wish me luck.